Welcome to Thriving on Purpose, the YouTube channel. Hello, 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 beautiful people. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Thriving on Purpose, the YouTube channel, where we share stories of hope and inspiration so that women who are coming behind us on their breast cancer journey can know that not only can life be good after breast cancer, but it can be better than ever before. I am your host, two-time breast cancer survivor, D. Manuel Cloud, and I am also a breast cancer recovery strategist, an international best-selling author, and I'm missing something, and also a speaker. I've spoken internationally on stages, and today we have with us the amazing Nakia Hardy. Nakia, thank you so much for being here with us today. I can't wait to hear your story.
Thanks so much for having me, Dia. I really appreciate my chance and opportunity to let people know we can still thrive.
We are thriving. We are about to kill this thing, right? So one of the first things I always like to ask Nakia, if you don't mind sharing, is the age of your diagnosis and the type of diagnosis. And the reason I asked about the age is because I think that when you hear somebody as young as yourself being diagnosed with breast cancer, it makes other women start to think about their mortality rate, right? And so I always like to ask the age and the type of diagnosis.
Okay. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 47 years old.
Wow, what type?
My type was in infiltrating or invasive ductal carcinoma, grade 2, stage 2.
Oh, wow. So we have that in common. I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma. And first of all, let's back up because you look freaking amazing. I thought you were like in your 30s, girl. You better kill it.
No, I'm on my way to being 50 now. 50 is coming up in less than 6 months. I don't look like what I've been through.
Melanin, it's the glorious perks of melanin. And one of the things that I want to highlight right now, ladies, is we don't have to look like what we've been through, right? Like God has us and God can help us get through anything. But anyway, I'm gonna get back on track. So tell us, Nakia, about your treatment plan, the treatment plan you opted in for.
Okay, so my treatment plan, I opted in to have chemotherapy first. And the reason we did that was because the size of my tumor, we wanted to shrink it down as small as that we can. That way, that'll make surgery and recovery that much more easier, if that's a such word with breast cancer. So it'll make it easier. So I decided to have chemotherapy first, then surgery, then radiation. So in a short, I went through, some people call that backwards, but I wanted to shrink the tumor that way, my recovery, because I didn't want the recovery part and the surgery part to take me too much out of my life. So I chose to shrink my tumor first and then have surgery to remove that tumor and then go through the rounds of radiation.
No, I feel that. We have that in common as well. I opted for a lumpectomy first. We removed the tumor first, then we did chemotherapy and then radiation. So I get it. And I was 35 when I was diagnosed. So I was trying to preserve my breast as much as I possibly could. I'm not gonna even lie, it was all about vanity for me the first time around. And then when God tapped me on the shoulder the second time around, God was like, girl, nobody is concerned about your vanity. I got some other things I'm trying to teach you here, right? So
Yeah.
I get it. So tell us, Nikhil, what were some of your biggest challenges with your breast cancer journey and even post breast cancer?
So some of my biggest challenges. Okay, I don't know if we have time for my biggest challenges, but
We do.
one part of my challenge was the mental component, the mental health component, what it did to me. I had a cousin that died from breast cancer, and I found out that I had breast cancer a few days before the anniversary of her death. And she was like my big sister. And so it was like, I would always say, I do everything my sister do. So I said, oh, it's my turn to die like my sister did. And so my biggest challenge was the mental health. It affected my mental health tremendously. It was so traumatic. But another big component of that for me, another big challenge on that for me was I had decided to go back to school after 30, 40 some odd years to school to feel like to do what I felt like what my purpose in life was. And I was like, oh, I finally went back to school and I'm in graduate school and I'm a year from graduating. And then cancer showed up. So it was like, do I stop? Because you can stop. Do I keep going? What happened? So my biggest challenge was, how can I fight breast cancer and not stop what I started 30 years ago?
Right. So what'd you end up doing?
I twisted it around, so to speak. So I know breast cancer, I don't take lightly or joking or anything. And I know that it's an unhealthy disease, but in of like a manner of like a tactic of reframing my thoughts, I took it as like, this is gonna be my healthy distraction to focus. So it was no time for games and no time for anything. I chose to stay in school and to keep going. And it was my healthy distraction, my unhealthy distraction. So I utilized that time that I had breast cancer, as in you have cancer, you focus on cancer and you focus on school. So I use that as like my pivotal point to be able to say, you focused on cancer, but still focus on life as well.
I love it. So I heard you say that even in the midst of your breast cancer battle, you knew that school was important to you. And also, what I heard you say without saying is, I'm not giving in to this thing. This is not going to be a death sentence for me. I'm still planning what's going to happen in my life after this is all said and done. And I love that for you, right? Like planning ahead, knowing that I'm going to beat this thing with God on my side and life will continue to go on for me afterwards. So that's what I'm planning for. I love it. That is powerful. So I want women listening to know that you don't have to put your life on hold for this thing,
Yeah.
right? That you can continue to have healthy distractions and still focus on healing at the same time. That's powerful, Nakia. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I just looked at it as I can stop, and if it gets too much, I can stop. But why not try to continue before I just say, let me stop because it's going to be heavy. It was heavy and it was hard, but I just chose to try before I stop.
I love it. I love it. And so, where are you in school now?
I graduated. I graduated this past June with my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. So I made it.
Yes. You better
I
show up and show out. I love
uh,
it.
God showed up and showed out. He showed up and showed out for me.
I know that's right. I
Yeah,
know that's right. God does his big one for us. And I love that for us.
I do.
Right.
I do as well. Yes.
So one of the things I like to ask is tell me about the beauty in your breakdown. And what that means is tell us about something beautiful that cancer left in its wake for you.
Ooh. What cancer left in its wake for me, it it rebuilt me. It
Mhm.
rebuilt me. It reinstilled my self-esteem. I was never a low self-esteem person, but because it's so scary, it was like it takes little pieces of you, you know? And
Mhm.
what it rebuilt was it made me a more focused, goal-oriented person. It made me really focus on what's important. It made me sit and think about who am I in life? What role do I want to play? What did God put me here for? And it made me more driven to, it's no time to waste now. You know, do what you want to do. You're going to live or you're going to exist. And I chose to live because I didn't want to just exist longer.
I love that. No time to waste.
Yeah.
I resonate with that. What breast cancer taught me the second time around was listen, I'm trying to teach you that life is too short, too valuable to be anything but happy and thriving, right? And I found myself shrinking a lot in my life before breast cancer and living for the happiness of other people. And what breast cancer taught me that second time around was, girl, it's time to be bold. It's time to be brave. It's time to get out there and live as your authentic self,
Yes.
right?
Unapologetically. Unapologetically.
Unapologetically
We
and
can try.
understanding. Right. Because for me, I was afraid of losing people if I
Mhm.
showed up as my authentic self.
Mhm.
And what I learned was by being vulnerable and being true to myself, the right people would connect themselves to
Mhm.
me. And now I don't shrink, I don't hide who I am. And I say to myself, often. My energy is mad, magnetic, and amazing people are attracted to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So feel you on that. I feel you on life is short. There is no time to waste.
No time. No time to waste. Yeah, it's like you can have a little fun and you can have a good time still, and you could choose. And the thing is, you can choose which way you choose to show up in your life. And for me, breast cancer was how do how am I going to be post breast cancer?
Mhm.
And even though breast cancer is going to always be with me, regardless if they say you don't have it anymore, you're in remission or whatever it is, it's going to always be with you because it leaves just that much. It inflicted so much that it's never going away. But for me, it was let me choose how I want to be in this world. Where do I want to land and how do I want that to look? That'll make me and my children proud.
Oh, tell us about your babies.
Well, I have grown babies. I have a 32-year-old and a 22-year-old, and they my nurses. They would be, mommy, no, no, what are you doing? No, you're doing too much. You went to school. Now you know they are on me. So my babies are they're my pride and joy. They make me so proud. And I have a boy and a girl, and I have two fur babies too. And so having adult children at that age, at when I was diagnosed, it was really great because they could understand
Yeah.
like what this was all about and they knew the severity of it. And so they were able to hold my hand and they were able to help me during all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So they my
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, I love that. I love that you had that support system. We have so much in common. I have grown babies as well. They're 33 and 24, boy and
Oh.
a girl. I had two fur babies. I had to put one of my fur babies down. We have so much in common. I love the way God just works and connects me with amazing spirits. I love this.
I always say I love when good people get with good people because great things come out of that. I love
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. And what's great about this connection is again that we're showing women who are coming behind us on their breast cancer journey that you don't have to put your life on hold. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I think that's one of the highlights of this interview with you, Nakia, is everything that you continue to do in spite of your diagnosis. You didn't put your life on hold. And so I know that there are going to be some women watching this saying, should I put my business on hold? Should I put school on hold? Should I put, whatever on hold? And I know that by watching this interview and seeing that you didn't put your life on hold, that it's going to give somebody hope and inspiration that they can keep going too. So thank you.
Yes, exactly. You're welcome. And my thing was, I know it's hard and sometimes during that journey, I don't want to make it seem like I just kept going. I was just doing it. I did slow down and I learned to, as you know, how important it is with breast cancer to listen to your body. And
Yes.
so the days that I was more tired, I rested. The days that I couldn't go to school or work, I rested. And that also is a critical thing because having a support system of people that support you and understand that you're, in this journey and you're going because I was blessed that I kept working in the beginning part all the way up until right at surgery. And that was like 6 months into things. And if I was tired, my employer said, okay, not today. And that support from my employer and them knowing that, and then support from my professors and even my classmates, because I remember my days would be like, I would go to like lab, that pre-injection lab, and then
Mhm.
I would come home and I was working remote at home. And then I would in the evening do my schoolwork. And then I would go to sleep and rest. And then the next day I would get up and have a 4-hour chemotherapy session. And I would be there with my computer. And they would be like, hey, computer, an infusion center. And I was doing my homework. So that way, when my homework was due the next night, I already had it out the way. So that 24-hour post injection, I was already tired, but I already had my homework out the way. And then
Okay.
that later that night, I would go to work and I would do do work. And I kept that up for just about 6 months until it just got to be too much. And then it was like, I'm gonna have to stop one thing. What can I stop? And thank God that it wasn't school. I was able to stop working at that
Yeah.
time. And I was able to like have my like benefits kick in that would take care of me financially during that time. And so I worked all the way up until my surgery, and I still kept with school. And the great thing for me is that I balanced my surgery. So it was at the end of the year during the holiday time. I actually had surgery 2 days before Christmas.
Oh,
And so
wow.
it's like I'm on break from school, so I don't have to worry about missing anything great with school. And so it was like, it's the holiday. Really, nobody's doing much but shopping during the holiday. So I was like, okay, I got surgery now. So that was the beauty of things, but it allowed me to keep keep focused on school and still have breast cancer. So my days that was tired, I would be tired, but then I would go to work, I would go to school. And that was just like, what am I doing at this second? And then when I needed to rest, I listened importantly to my body and say, not today. It was a great thing, because in that support, I even had classmates to say, if you can't walk, we'll drive you to your car. And that support system is a beautiful thing. So it worked. I was really fortunate to have a great surrounding of people for me. And in my life and in my family, we have this thing, TKCA. I think you can see it on my shirt. And
Mhm.
it's Kid Cancers, and it
Yes,
was
we can say ass on here.
okay, it's Team Kid Cancer as, because nobody should fight alone. And even if it's that one person or one thing or one entity that shows up for you, we had that because nobody should fight alone. And me, I never had to fight alone. There was not a day in this journey that I had to fight alone. And it
I
helped.
love it. And most importantly, so one of the things I want to point out that you said is number one, you listened to your body. That's important, ladies, because I think that we like to be super women, right?
Mhm.
Like we like to believe that we can do it all, have it all, and we can if and when we listen to our bodies that says, slow
Yeah.
down right now so that you can rest, so that you can get back up and keep doing the things that are important to you. I
Yes.
also heard you say that you were vulnerable enough to allow people to be there for you. I think that's super important as well because I didn't. I learned the hard way. I wanted to present as strong and capable to everyone because I didn't want people to worry about me. And I
Mm.
was driving myself to chemotherapy appointments, and it hit home for me when I was driving myself home from a chemotherapy appointment. And I got home by the grace of God because I was so weak and so tired. And
Mm.
that was my cue to let people in and say, okay, I don't think I can do this by myself anymore. So I love that you were vulnerable. Vulnerability, I learned, is a superpower. And I love that you were vulnerable enough to let people in to know that, hey, I could use some support. Right. And I love that you got the support, not only from your children, but from your classmates, from your professors, from your supervisors, that you were surrounded by amazing people who had your back. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
my family, because I generally in life present as a strong person. As you said, you did it all yourself. I'm the person that I do it all myself. And with this, I'll allow myself, I fought with myself. I beat me up to say, I can't do this by myself. And my auntie and my cousin was like, nope, we're going with you. Give me the keys. We're doing this. So allowing that vulnerability was the hardest part for me. But my auntie and my cousin will always say, we're going to spank you. You're not doing this by yourself ever. And they did not let me do it by myself ever. And I'm so thankful and grateful for them for that.
I love that. That is amazing. So, ladies, the takeaway is allow people to be there for you.
Yes.
Open up and be vulnerable and let people be there for you. There's nothing wrong with it. Vulnerability is a superpower. So,
Yeah.
tell me what it means to you, Nakia, to thrive and how that shows up in your life.
Ooh, to thrive, that word thrive is a strong word. It's a strong word, and thrive could mean so many things. And to be as vigorous as the word thrive, for me to show up and thrive on purpose was how I utilized again with school. And I could have taken myself out of life, because cancer sometimes does take us out of life. But to thrive, it meant for me to continue to show up and as close as I could to my own self in life. And to be able to say, well, I'm just going to still progress toward my goals. And I was actually, as a clinical mental health counselor, I was an intern at that time as well. And I would go to therapy on the days that I didn't go to internship. And it was the founder would say, you have what? Are you doing what here? And it was like, I chose to stay in this world, so give it to me. And being able to thrive to say, this is my unhealthy, healthy distraction. So to not give up, to allow myself to say, I chose to stay in the world as best I could on the days that I could. And
Yeah.
being able to just keep going and to find the endurance to push through, to be resilient enough to say, I want to keep going. So thriving to me, thriving and resiliency and being able to like pull strength from somewhere, God, where, you know? So thriving to me, was to keep showing up despite my circumstance of cancer. And I use that as far as like, because of school, because that I feel like God put me here to be a helpmate to many people in the world for their mental health. And thriving, I was focused on because I'm somebody gonna need me and I need to be able to show up as fully as I can for them. So thriving meant for me to keep going for that reason.
Oh, I love it. So I love that what I heard you say is in the midst of everything, you were still thinking about how you can show up and give back to other people,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
it was important to you to keep going because you know that you are meant to be of service to other people. And that's just one of the four keys of fulfillment is being of service to other people. And I love that. So thank you for the work that you're doing in the world too.
It's like, how you can be in one part in your life and something happens and you found yourself in a different part of life. Like I feel like I've had several lives of different parts of me. And to even hear some, like you say, thank you for showing up to be that. And it's like I received that compliment and thank you for saying that. It just feels funny to me still because it's almost a level of imposter syndrome. Like, is this me we're talking about? That I show up for people and I love it. So it just show you how great God is. He really is.
All
Yeah.
the time, all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
even in our breakdowns, right?
Yes.
Um, I know that for me, I often say that I'm on training wheels
Mhm.
with God. Like I'm still building my faith, I'm still building my toolbox and the whole nine. But if I tell you God continues to just show up and show out in my life, and even in those tough times, even when going through something as traumatic as breast cancer, if we just lean into that faith and say, okay, God, why is this happening for me? Not to me. Why is this happening for me? What is it you want me to get out of this? What is it you want me to learn? Right? I promise you, there's pain. There is no pain without purpose, and
Mhm.
pain always leaves a gift, right? We just have to be willing to look at the gift box and instead of looking at the tragedy,
Mhm.
I believe anyway. So
Yes.
tell us what you're up to now, Miss Nakia, and how people can get in touch with you.
Oh, that would be a great thing. So now what I'm up to, I am a full-time mental health therapist. I work for a beautiful agency that is a diverse agency that deals with, they handle or help our communities that don't always get touched in the mental health aspect. So I love that. A behavioral, excuse me, my voice just decided to go away. Look at the devil be trying. Not today.
Fine. Not today.
Get my voice back. Yes. So I work for a behavioral health center, and I love because they serve the less fortunate communities, and they're
Okay.
a dynamic agency. So I work for an agency called Ashe, and being a mental health therapist. So I love counseling and being assistance to somebody on their journey. So that's what I'm
Oh,
up
I
to.
love it. I love it. And so how can, if people are seeking your services, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can go online to Alshay Counseling and Coaching, or I'm on social media. I don't have my name as my social media handle because I keep personal life and professional life very separate. But my name is kind of weird on social media. And it's Nikki whatchamacallit, just like the old candy bar. That was my favorite candy bar growing up. So it's just like that. So I could be found there as well.
Okay, spell Ashe for us.
Sure, it's ASHE.
See, I was spelling it. ASHE counseling and coaching.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So thank you, Miss Nakia, for your time today. Thank you for sharing your story of inspiration and hope and determination. You are, to me, the poster child for determination. Like, this thing happened, but it's not going to take me off my game. And I love that. I love that you were able to complete your master's degree in the midst of your cancer journey. I think that that's powerful. And I think that's going to lend lots of hope to other women to know that they don't have to put their lives on hold. They only need to be willing to listen to their bodies as they continue to
Yeah.
press forward and persevere. So
Mhm.
thank you for your story. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for taking the time this morning. And just thank you for who you are in the
Mm.
world.
Oh, you are very welcome. And thank you for having me, Dee. I really appreciate being able to share my testimony and be able to assist women in thinking about that. What do I do next?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
what
all.
do I do next?
That
Yeah.
is what it's mostly about. What am I going to do next with this thing?
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things that you said during your interview is it was really your biggest challenge was what it did to you mentally. And now here you are, full circle, giving back to the mental health community.
Yeah.
Right. So look at God doing his big one.
God be God. I'm telling you, my God be God. And he, like you said, it's your pain is purposeful. And
Yes.
having learning a discerning ear on being for real with yourself and say, God, what is my challenge with this? But not even a challenge as in a fight, but where do you need me to be? Where are you positioning me? And
Yes.
being able to hear that, I thank God that my stupid self was able to hear at that time that even though it's cancer, it's not a death sentence. You can push and you can fight and you can go on. And he's carrying me. He carried me that whole journey. That was that year and a half was something that I'll never forget. But he carried me through it and being able to
Love
go
that.
through it and choose to say, here you are now.
I love that. Where do you want me? Where are you positioning me for? That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's a powerful question I believe that everybody should ask of God. Where do you want me? What are you positioning me for? I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, thank you. Is there anything you want our viewers to know before we disconnect?
If I could want to leave anybody with anything, it would be that you can do it. You can push through, you can thrive past a diagnosis. You are not your diagnosis. Your diagnosis is not you. Push through and continue on in any avenue you want to continue on to.
I love it. You are not your diagnosis. Your diagnosis is not you. You can persevere. You can push through. You can beat this thing. And not only can life be good after breast cancer, but I believe that Nakia and myself are representatives that it can be better than ever before. So thank
Yes.
y'all so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of Thriving on Purpose, the YouTube channel with the gorgeous Nakia Hardy. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you love what you heard today, don't forget to like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you can know when we drop the next episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And bye until next time. Bye for now. For more inspirational stories like these, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to turn on your notifications. Thank you for rocking with us. And remember, we're thriving on purpose.